Imagine a world of pure snow and ice that is a third of a mile thick. Now imagine driving your own overland vehicle up and onto that world. Join me today for a very special episode in Iceland.
PSI.
Okay. So here we are, we're on the edge of the second biggest glacier in Iceland. I'm in a convoy of 6 Jeeps. They're all on 40-inch tyres. I've got the smallest at 35-inch. The guys are helping me out. We're going down to 10 PSI on the Yokohama Geolander AT4s. And these things, they are snow rated. They do have sipes in them. I don't know if that counts as glacier rated. Let's find out. Here we go, driving on a glacier. So I have done a lot of crazy things in my life. I've driven my Jeeps to a lot of beautiful places, and this might be the most insane ever. I am just about to drive my Jeep onto a glacier and go and tackle the deepest snow I've ever seen.
Then you just keep us informed how it is going, just try to keep steady speed.
Will do for sure. So here we go, I'm right on the edge of the glacier. I'm just turning the rear locker on. I'm in low range, I've got the sway bar disconnected. Tyres are 10 PSI in the front, 12 PSI in the rear. We don't exactly know how I'm gonna go for traction. You can tell I am pretty amped right now. I am, got some adrenaline for sure. The view in front of me is staggering. All of the Jeeps in a row on their 40-inch tyres, just going for it. Just want to check the dash. The sway bar is disconnected. I'm not actually sure if the rear locker is on. Now I just hit it again. So far this looks fine. Like I'm not going to have any trouble with traction here. Rear locker is on. Welcome to the second biggest glacier in Iceland, they just said over the radio. This is insane. I see nothing but snow and ice all around me. Trying to fly the drone and drive on a glacier at the same time. This is probably not advised. I feel it sliding and squirming a little bit, but it's all right. So we drove up a bit further to where it flattened out, and we left my Jeep there, and I jumped in one of the other guys' Jeeps and came back to get my drone. And so now I'm in the passenger seat. That means I can actually fly the drone some sort of reasonable way. And you can see exactly what we're driving on here. No doubt about it, this is a glacier. This is rock hard, slippery ice with just a skiff of snow on it. And the guys explain the conditions change greatly depending on what the snow is like. You can see there's actually even some snow falling today, and so that helped us, that gives us more traction on that otherwise blue, very slick ice, essentially an ice skating rink. This angle here really shows you too, we are climbing to get up on top of the glacier. Here we are on the glacier. This is compact snow that we're driving on now, and obviously these guys are packing it down for me with their 40-inch tyres, and it's got as much grip as a highway in the Yukon or Alaska will have, like on a bad day. So I definitely am like slipping and sliding a little bit. Definitely underneath is ice, and like when I was walking on it, it feels like a skating rink underneath. But down at these tyre pressures, the Jeep's having no trouble. I just switched over to high range 4-wheel drive so I get a bit more speed. And as the guy said, it's a little bit about just keeping your speed, keeping moving. And dare I say it, so far so good. This is one of the most bizarre things I have ever done in a Jeep. And there is a long list of things that it's competing with. Of course, once we have all the Jeeps up on the glacier, it's impossible not to play around. After all, we are just boys with our big toys. But I need to back up here, I've gotten ahead of myself. What am I even doing? Who are these people? So there's a guy called Oskar, and he runs a tour company in Iceland called Rebel Roads. And he has a whole fleet of these Jeeps where he takes out people on adventures across Iceland. And you can go on single day trips or multi-day trips. Very rarely does he let people bring their own vehicle. More often than not, they jump in and they can even drive one of his Jeeps here in these fleets. And so they're all 4xe, they're all actually hybrids. They all have 40-inch tyres, central tyre inflation systems, which means that all of them are running at about 5 PSI today. And so anyway, Oskar knew of me and has seen some of my YouTube videos, and he invited me out for a day driving on the Glacier. And of course I jumped at the chance, and I knew my friend Florian would come along, but when we met up in the car park, I was staggered to find that a whole bunch of Oskar's guides had decided to come out as well. So Monday to Friday, they guide on the Glacier, they guide all around Iceland, showing people the incredible places. And they love it so much, and they're so crazy that on their day off on the weekend, they just want to come out and do more of it. That's how insane these guys are. They remind me so much of Yukoners or people up in Alaska. They are just mad keen crazy, and all they want to do is have adventures with people that want to have adventures. And so here we are all together. This is what it looks like to drive on the Glacier. Utterly mind-blowing. There is nothing in any direction. And I'm doing my best to stay in formation here, but I'm flying the drone as well, so I'm not doing a great job. And it is one of those times where it's really weird to drive so close to other vehicles. Exactly like being on the salt flats in Bolivia, it's impossible not to want to have a drag race or to do donuts or just behave badly, essentially. Because you can, because there's no roads, there's no line markings, there's no rules. But I should say, Oskar is watching his GPS really carefully. He's been up here so many times. He has really good markers of where there's dangerous crevasses, where there's really soft areas of snow and ice, and the parts that we need to avoid. So it looks like a lot of fun, but it can be really dangerous, which is why I was really excited to tag along with these guys.
So from here on, it could be a little challenging. Let's just see how you will do in the tracks. We are going to go from here up to the high point of the glacier.
Copy that, and I guess I'll just try to go into the snow, and if I get stuck, I get stuck.
Yeah, we have some cars to pull you up, so...
I would say that this snow is not deep yet. We're going to the high point of the glacier, apparently, is where we're trying to get me. But nobody really knows how it's going to go, so let's just see. Is the snow here this compact because you've all driven on it in the past? Like, if you go 100 meters to your left, will it be really, really soft and deep, or kind of the same everywhere?
No more here in the south region of Iceland, we have high wind, so it's more compact due to the wind. So nobody has been driving here, so it's a little bit, we have less snow now, overlying maybe hard shallow snow from the summer.
I have to say, Dan, I'm impressed to see your car handling on the snow. But it's a good, super good conditions.
Yeah, it's doing really good, no problem at all. Just maybe slow down a bit because it's heavy.
Yeah, no worries. We will, if you see, put your speed down, then we will slow a little bit down.
No, it's fine. It's really good fun.
So there was a bit of blue sky there for a minute, but you can see it is closing down. I can see the Jeeps in front of me, they're 100 meters up, but further than that, I have absolutely nothing. I have no bearing, I have no direction, I have no sense of where we've driven. If I had to get us back, I could follow my GPS, but I would only be able to follow our tyre tracks until such time as the wind or the snow covers them up. I have absolutely no concept. Even look at the dash and it says I'm driving northeast. I don't even know what that means right now. So for a bit of fun, Oskar suggests I lead the way, and here is exactly what it looked like from my point of view driving the Jeep. Okay, yeah, that's really strange. I can't even really tell that I'm moving.
And if you add snowdrift or snowfall into this, the only way sometimes to find if you're going forward or not is to release the throttle to see if you go forward in the car itself.
I also can't tell if I'm going in a straight line, other than it looks like I just veered away from you guys.
it's similar as you experience as a pilot. You get the lean, you think you go straight, but you're going either to the left or right if you don't have a waypoint to go after.
And I can feel too, I just keep going slower and slower because I have this idea that like there's a cliff right in front of me, but I can't see it. So I'm like trying to slow down all the time.
Yeah, when we go to the mountain, there's a big gap. It's like you will fall into that before you go to the cliff, so I'm more afraid of that.
That's good news. It's actually like being on a different planet. I have never done anything remotely like this.
This should be okay. So it's always good to have a leading car, so if that disappears, then you just group up and go from our directions.
Perfect.
It's super cool. There are two things on the glacier that scares me. The crevasses, not that much, but it's also good to be a little bit afraid of them. But then we have the Mulan. Mulan is just a glacier drainage for the glacier. So when a glacier is melting, you will see approximately 10% of the glacier melting water. The other 90% is going through the glacier and traveling underneath. And those can be, if you are in an area where the glacier is 200 meters of thickness, it will be 200 meters deep and you fall down them. And actually the fall won't kill you. You will fall down either with hand down or hand by the side, get stuck, make a cloggage, so you will drain all the water and you will drown in the glacier.
Again, sounds delightful.
We can see the mountain here in front of us now to the left.
You have X-ray vision.
Yes, the GPS. This morning I didn't dream that I will go even this far. It is quite beautiful to see this mountain here at this time of year.
Oskar goes on to explain that because it's just the end of summer, they haven't been this far onto the glacier since last winter. And so he really had no idea what the conditions were going to be like, and he had no idea if my Jeep would make it or not. So he is actually really stoked to be here and see what it all looks like since last time they were here almost 6 months ago.
This is volcanic ash since the volcano Eyjafjallajökull erupted in 2010, and this glacier was just covered with volcanic debris. And what happened? This goes into holes and crevices. When you get enough quantity of it, it seals the ice. So it leaves us little small pyramids all over the glacier. So you can see how fast the glacier has been melting because there's this thin layer of volcanic dust on it, and underneath is just ice, like this. And this is here you can measure how fast and much the glacier has been melting. It's cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's a thin layer of volcanic ash on it. I cannot pronounce H, so it's volcanic ash.
Ash. Yeah. That would break your leg.
It would break your leg. If you're slim enough, that's the reason you eat too much. If you're slim enough, then you go into it. Keep your belly to
That's why Icelanders are so huge. All the skinny ones died. So we just stopped for a quick lunch. I made hot dogs for the guys, and we're on the way back now. And they were saying they're actually really impressed how my Jeep is doing on the glacier, on the conditions. The only thing really that's slowing me down, I'm having to go slower than them, is simply because I'm so heavy. You know, this is a whole house. The bumps, the like whoop-de-whoops in the glacier, every now and again I get close to getting air, I think, and I can hear all of our pots and pans getting air in the back in the cupboard. So I just have to go slower than these guys do on their massive tyres. They are all aired down to between 6, there you go, some good bumps, they're all aired down to between 6 and 8 PSI. So their tyres are just balloons, giving them all that flotation, but also just takes out all the bumps as well. And still, we are driving on the moon. I'm really curious to see what it feels like to drive off on my own. And so with Oskar's go-ahead, I veer away from the group and just set out into the untracked snow. Now that the sun is out, I can see where I'm going, and the sense of isolation and the unlimited expanse out here is just so strange to wrap my head around. This is like nothing else I've ever seen on planet Earth. I am so thoroughly addicted. This is wild. I cannot believe Oskar and the guys get to do this day after day. What a world, what an experience. Utterly jaw-dropping and breathtaking. So now we're on the way down the glacier, and it's just kind of misting a little bit, like rain, really. The Jeep says it's below freezing, so it's kind of like almost snow. And the guy said, just watch out, because it'll be a bit slippery here, because this stuff is falling on that snow that we've been driving on. That's all compacted now. So this feels a lot like highway driving in Alaska or the Yukon, when it's that, you know, temperature where you're going to get black ice, you're going to get the unknown. And of course the elevation change here is what makes it a little bit more sketchy than usual, because we're going downhill, and big heavy vehicles and downhill in snow is always the recipe that you don't want. And there's some side hilling up here too, so if things start sliding it's going to get interesting, but so far so good. I think that means cars are coming. I'm starting to learn Icelandic. No, I'm not. So as he just said on the radio, either side of us is just bare ice. It basically didn't snow down here last night, or very little, and the wind just blew it in. So we're just driving downhill on ice. Exactly what you don't want to be doing. Let's put the transmission in manual to control my descent a little bit so I don't have to just ride the brake. Here comes one of those cars towards me. So now it looks like we're really driving on ice, and I just did a brake check, and yeah, it's about as slippery as you think it is. It didn't take a whole lot of brake pedal pressure for me to just start sliding, and sliding right now, not great. Oh, I'm just looking, a person in front of me just fell over who walked up here. Yeah, sliding right now would not be a good thing, because downhill is kind of off to my left, down into some very, very slick, shiny looking ice. So as Oskar said to me, make sure you keep the nose or the tail pointed downhill. Don't go downhill sideways. I'll try my best. Thanks, Oskar. I'm just watching the Jeep in front of me. He's kind of breaking through the ice a bit and kicking up some slush. I think we're getting warmer as we're getting lower now. We're getting closer and closer to the end of the glacier. And so now it's kind of like broken slush snow ice. I think I actually have plenty of grip right now. So I think, dare I say it, I think that is mission success. So I have to say, that was one of the most incredible experiences in a four-wheel drive I've ever had in a Jeep. If it's something you're interested in doing, get over here and get a hold of the guys at Rebel Roads. They know what they're doing. They've done this many hundreds of times. These guys are experts, and you don't have to bring your own vehicle. I mean, you can, and they'll bring you out. You can rent and drive those Jeeps that I've been out with all day. Yeah, those Jeeps on 40-inch tires with central tire inflation. You can jump behind the wheel. You can be up doing this right here in Iceland. And Oskar just said to me too, winter is the best time to do it, because the ice is way more stable and he can take you to way more places, and it's safe.
Way back from the glacier, we were super lucky with the weather. It was supposed to be snowing, but we had clear skies in between, and good condition to drive. So we were able to bring the car on 35-inch tires all the way into the mid of the glacier. We are heading back now on the Highland route. I'm going to take a little bit detour on the way back to Reykjavik. It has been a bloody marvelous day today.
Next time on The Road Chose Me, I continue the adventures with Oskar and his crazy crew of Icelandic guides. Join us as we explore the moonscape in early winter. This is one you definitely don't want to miss. Make sure you're subscribed, and I'll see you soon.
Við erum mjög líka hérna ykkur